welcome back to the internet's #1 favorite show. This is the BYB Insider, and I'm your host, the Big Guy. So here we are, kiddies. It's weeks 1 and 2. Finally get out onto the field for some action. And that's exactly what the BYB Insider is going to bring to you. Non-stop, wall-to-wall action. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to get started, but man, it's been so long. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. Okay, what's the code here? Wait. Oh, I remember. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BABA, start. Still got the touch. Here we go.
Alright, kiddies, it's week 1 and we're starting off with the BYB's oldest rivalry, Dameron and Evans, the Guild and the Six Kitties. We're going to start it on the Guild side, and Michael Evans came ready to rumble with Rogers, Forte, and Jordan Matthews leading the way with 20-plus scores. Melvin Gordon left it a little light, but when you flip it around, Jordan Cameron did. He kept the party going with the punky little kicker, Matt Bryant, with an impressive 17. Could the Six Kitties come back and answer? Well, it looked promising for Larry in the beginning with a nice score from Matt Ryan, Jeremy Hill, and Jarvis Landry also kicking in. But when you flip it around to the backside, Travis Kelce was more impressive with a 28, but alas, the power outage happened when Mario couldn't find the quarterback and the mule couldn't kick. And it leads to a Panther loss, 135 to 126.5. The Kicks come face the Guild next, and the Cons come face the Kitties. We're moving along with the 2-time former world champion, the Angels, taking on Beaver Casey's Watt Boys in their inaugural game. We take it to the Angels side, and that douchebag Baisden just couldn't find anything going. CJ Forsett not doing nothing. Vincent Jackson, Drew Brees left it up, pedestrian 17. You flip it around, Martellus Bennett looked decent, but Adam Vinatieri not only couldn't find the uprights, he couldn't even kick one through. -1 there, and we take it to the Watt side. Could the Watt boys find the wattage to take them out? You better believe it. With Matt Stafford, Marshawn Lynch, and Julian Edelman, Emmanuel Sanders with impressive scores. You flip it around, and the party kept going with Jason Witten and Clinton Dix. And it was a walk-off for the Watt boys as they take it easily, 136.5 to 79.5. We're moving along with the Battle of the Workman Clan Part 1. The UPS boys and the A-Team, and we're going to take it with the patriarch of the family, Josh Workman and his A-Team boys. And as we dive inside the box scores, it looked promising with Julio down by the schoolyard with 35 points, but the rest of the team left it hanging. You flip it around, and not much was happening back here either, as the A-Team just couldn't find the A game. But could the UPS boys come and answer back and take this one out? In a word, yes. DeAndre Hopkins with Tony Romo. And what can Brown do for you? 28 points. Impressive showing. Even though Greg Olson left it on the table with a 3, it really didn't matter as the UPS walk off with a nice victory, 135.5 to 114.5. The Kai's next for the UPS and the Mud Dogs for the A-Team. And the aforementioned McConnell Mud Dogs came to face Jordan Calandros and Pound Town. We take it to the McConnell Mud Dog side, and this has got to be weird for Jordan, considering Jordan is the GM of this team, and boy, what an impressive team he built for his boss. Roethlisberger, Charles Hyde, Keenan Allen delivering all bevies of pain. CJ Mosley knocking it down with a 14.5. So could Jordan in essence answer himself? In a word, no. But at least Andrew Luck could come up with 20 points. But that was about the end of the story. As you flip it around, not much was happening here other than superstar Jimmy Graham. And unfortunately, Jordan just couldn't find enough to defeat himself as he loses in a laugher, 157 to 94.5. The A-Team next for the Mud Dogs, and turned down for what will come calling for the Pound Town as we're moving along with the 3 and out. and Charlie Brown's Let Me Kick Boys. We're going to take it to the Muncie side and the Outs. Could the Outs come up with an impressive showing in week 1? And in a word, not really. But Eddie Lacy at least shook off the Blues from last year and scored 17 points. You flip it around to the backside, and Paul Postlesny and Rashad Johnson and Michael Bennett. Nice defensive effort from the 3 and outs. Could Charlie Brown Let Me Kick answer back? And in a word, no. But hey, at least Bishop Sankey finally found double figures as a running back, right guys? But the wrong way Broncos definitely kicked over the fence and went the wrong way, as Talib and Brandon McManus were the only ones that could score, and it led to a kicks loss. The Outs take a 113 to 101.5. The Guilds up next. That should be the Black Angels, and the Panthers are up for the Kick Boys as we're moving on to the game of the week presented by Pyrotech. It's the rematch of last year's BYB Championship game. The Kais and the Decepticons as we go to Jacob Workman and his Decepticon side. And in a word, Jacob, oh Jacob, oh Jacob. It looked good in the beginning up until he got the Blues. Alfred Blue with only 5 points, and the wide receivers couldn't catch anything. Like I said, we make mistakes here, folks. We realize that's Larry Donnell's picture with Julian Thomas's name. Just let me slide with one, all right? Jeez. We take it to the two-time defending world champion side, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, is he ready to battle. Even though Sammy Watkins had a goose egg, Tom Brady with 35 points, and most of those points were connecting with that guy, Rob Gronkowski, and of course that defense. Impressive as the Cobra Kais dismantled the Decepticons, 153 to 83.
So coming into week 2, plenty of storylines to follow as many teams were looking for their first W, and a few were trying to keep up the win streak. But we're going to start it off with the Black Angels and their owner, Brian Baisden, who made one of the most weirdest press conferences ever in BYB history. Up against the 3 and outs and Mark Muncie. Mark was looking to continue his winning ways. Did he get it? Well, we're going to dive right into the action right now. It's week 2. Here we go.
All right, here we go. The Black Angels and the 3 and outs, Muncie versus Baisden. As we dive inside the scores here, we're going to start it out with the 3 and out side. Mark Muncie had a pretty good start off with Eli with 22 and Amari Cooper with 23, but unfortunately Eddie Lacy found himself on the meat wagon and ended up with a goose egg. You flip it around, Kyle Rudolph scored down great, but the defensive effort was a little mediocre. Could the Black Angels, who are looking for a victory after their week 1 stunning loss, answer? And in a word, yes. Say hello to Larry Fitzgerald. Drew Brees knocking down 13 points before he ended up on the meat wagon as well. And even though Adam Vinatieri couldn't find the uprights, it didn't matter for the Angels as they survive. 108.5 to 95. Next up for the Angels is the blood feud against the McConnell Mud Dogs. We got the Decepticons and the Sex Kitties, and we're going to take it to the Sex Panther side. And Larry Dameron had these comments before the game.
It's all about hate this weekend. Jacob hates his team, and I hate Jacob and his team. Someone would deliver a smackdown. Send him home crying to his little daddy, just like a little baby boy. Boo-hoo-hoo. Better luck next week, Jacob.
All right, Dameron throwing down the trash talk, and could he back it up? Well, if you're looking at these scores, it kind of left it to interpretation. Jeremy Hill with a -2. Justin Houston had a pretty good game with 14.5 there. Could Jacob come and answer back with his Decepticons? And you can put it on the board. Yes. Brandon Marshall and Megatron and Russell showing up large. Really didn't matter about Alfred Blues 1. You flip it around and we have a money-earning Vernon Davis signing, everybody. And it was just enough as the Decepticons take it 116.5 to 94.5. Next up for the Decepticons, they'll have the Guild and the 3 and outs for the 6 Kitties. Muncie and Dameron, always a classic. We got the Mud Dogs and the A-Team going head-to-head here. Josh Workman trying to get the A-Team on their A game, and once again, it was not happening. Bradford Randall and Doug Martin in single digits, but Julio was down by the schoolyard with ODB with good scores. But you flip it around and the bad times just continued for the A-Team. Mediocre scores at best. Could Tommy Quick and his built Mud Dogs come to play? Yes, sir. Ben Roethlisberger with a huge 36-point game made up for the double goose eggs from the wide receivers. You flip it around, and it was Gostkowski with that huge 19-point game, and it was just enough as the Mud Dogs slide by 109 to 107.5. Next up, the grudge match with the Black Angels. Let Me Kick goes head-to-head with the A-Team. We got turned down for one in Pound Town, and we're going to start off with the Pound Town boys. Last week, a hard loss to Tommy Quick, his boss, in a team that he GMs, and you know, he may want to go back to the drawing board to his own, because the only ones that was showing up was the old man Steve Smith Jr. or Sr. or whatever. Poor old superstar Jimmy Graham, only one catch. Justin Tucker with a 15-point game. Could the Watt boys overcome? And in a word, yes. Once again, the wide receivers going off for the Watt boys. Sanders and Julian Edelman with a 33-point game. Stafford there with a great game as well. Flip it, and you got Witten, and you got Mason Crosby, and the Watts win it in a laugher, 149 to 105.5. Next up for the Watt boys, UPS, and the Cobra Kai's come to visit the Pound Town. We're moving on. It's the Guild of Calamitous Intent. And you got the Let Me Kick boys, Charlie Brown's bunch. We're going to start it off with the Guild. Mike Evans continuing his winning ways with points like that. You better believe it, bub. Jordan Matthews yet again with another 20-point game. Aaron doing what Aaron does. You flip it around, and Jamie Collins, 23.5. Huge game for him. Could the wrong way Broncos right the ship? But hey, Peyton Manning returned to form with 25 points. 19 points out of Demaryius Thomas, but that was just about it, as everybody else fell into the mediocre bucket, and it led to another Let Me Kick loss. 137.5 to 90. Next up, the Guild takes on the Decepticons, and the aforementioned A-Team will meet in a battle of winless teams, and we're off to the game of the week presented by Pyrotech. It is the matchup of the 2 latest champions, UPS and Cobra Kai, and we're going to start it off on the UPS side. And Thomas came to rumble with Antonio Brown, 36 points, but the rest of the guys left it a little light. You flip it around, and it was not much to be had back here either, although Greg Olson kind of sort of returned to form with a 13. So the door was open. Could the Cobra Kai's walk through? And you better believe it. Say hello to Tom Brady. He's on a mission, folks. LaShawn and Latavius Murray showing up with big points. Terrence Williams now in a fill-in role. And you got Gronkowski there knocking down 24. And J.J. Watt doing what J.J. Watt do, as the Kais remain undefeated. 138.5 to 111.5. And that brings us to the power rankings, where you will find the Cobra Kai's leading the way at the number 1 spot. Turned down for what? Beaver Casey sitting at number 2, shocking enough. The Guild and the McConnell Mud Dogs lead out the undefeateds at 3 and 4. And the scrum continues at the bottom. Who's going to come out on top? We'll find out.
So that does it for weeks 1 and 2 of the BYB season. But don't you fret, because the BYB Insider is going to truck on and give you all the winners and the losers as we continue our march towards Dina. But for this episode, We're done. We're out of here. We'll see ya in 2 weeks.